A word on Wales, because obviously you've got strong Welsh connections.
Mrs. L, very happy.
For those who don't know about Wales, and there are many people in the rest of the world who, frankly, know very little about Wales, right? This is a country, I think, what, 2.5 to 3 million people?
Yeah, 3
right?
million people.
They are next to England. They're part of the United Kingdom. But in terms of the sporting identity of Wales, stereotypically, rugby's always been, or historically, is always the number one sport.
Yeah.
And
they've been very good at it.
There was a recent poll where it's 47% to 45%, which really blew me away. I mean, I think there's still a force in rugby, as I understand it. It's not like rugby's going away, but as a nation, right? They've produced some incredible footballers. Ian Rush, Mark Hughes, obviously John Charles, who most people would say is. Well, before Gareth Bale came along, I don't think there would be a debate about who the greatest ever was. Now people might debate Bale or John Charles or whatever. Just say that's a fair debate to have. Just please don't bring up the 5 Champions League titles at Real Madrid, because this has got nothing to do with who's greater. It's just about where you are in your time. But this is still a team, and we often see this with European countries of that size. Not just European countries, a lot of countries that size, where you're going to have experienced stars who played at the highest level, like Aaron Ramsey, like Bale, playing alongside guys. I mean, there was the one guy who started the season, I think, in non-league, Kiefer Moore, who doesn't look like
it's not the same sport almost.
Wayne Hennessy hadn't played at club level, I think, since January. It's pretty. Joe Rodon never plays for Spurs since Conte arrived.
I mean, you've got players in the lower leagues.
I'm just wondering about blending that into a team. And then on top of that, and again, I might be going over all ground if you're a Welsh fan, but you've got a national team coach in Robert Page, former player, central defender, who was an interim coach. He was called in because of when Ryan Giggs had to resign after his arrest. And it felt interim, and yet he's still there. It's not interim anymore, is it?
No. And he's done an amazing job, really, to take this team again to only the second World Cup in history. The way they play with that back three, which is different to what Giggs was playing in. I think he deserves also a lot of credit for coming in and implementing his ideas, which is not easy. He's a very, very good coach per se, but there's a difference between being a good coach and have that kind of relationship with your players and having good ideas to be a World Cup national team head coach. This is two very different things, and he kind of adapted so quickly and so well. This is a golden generation, though. This is maybe as great as some of the names that you mentioned in the history of Welsh football. This is, as a collective, the best that they've been already as a youth level. They were good, and then they've been together for 10 years, let's say. And they've grown together. I think the Euros 2016 and that semi-final, which was an incredible achievement, beating Belgium in the quarterfinals, really helped to make them realize, listen, we can do great things. They're not going to win the World Cup, but they're not going to win the Euros. But you can still achieve great things. Incredible support from the fans wherever they go. Then the 2020 Euros was a bit more disappointing, I guess, because you still need Gareth Bale at his best for that team to do well.
Well, you say this is the greatest generation. Or the golden generation. I mean, you go back, though, and I mean, I remember, I think, the 58 team is a team that qualified for the World Cup. They went to the World Cup. Yeah. They drew all 3 of their group games, and then they lost to Brazil. Yeah. And that was Pelé's Brazil, by the way. When Brazil won their first World Cup in 1958. Again, I wasn't around for that. That looks pretty good to me.
No, it did.
And then I think back even to the team, I think it was before the 94 World Cup, when they were playing Romania. I think that was a team of, you had Neville Southall, who was getting older, but had been one of the very best goalkeepers at the world. I believe you still had, I'm going from memory here, so I could be all wrong. Feel free to correct me. I think you still had Rush and Mark Hughes up front.
Mark Hughes for sure, Rush.
Pretty good, right? And then they miss a penalty. It's a penalty off the crossbar, which would have given them a win over Romania, and then Romania go and score at the other end, and they get knocked out. So they've had, and by the way, that was a 2014 World Cup, right? 1994, or no, 94 was the first one with 32. But still, it's a different. So they've had it. Here's one that's come together, and it's come together for 3 major tournaments, and I think that's absolutely huge.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.